Hey everybody. All right, good evening. The end of that song came pretty fast, and I just rushed back with my drink, and now I just got to take a little sip before I get started. Hold on just one second, folks. Got some people over here tonight and through the holidays, and you know what it's like around a holiday season, right? Christmas and everything's going kind of crazy. So, all right. Good evening, folks. We are live streaming YouTube Live as we do every Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It is now 8:01. And we're gonna hit this record button so we start the action here. All right, welcome everybody. A lot of people online here tonight. Okay, good stuff. Here we go.
Recording in progress.
All right, good evening everybody, and welcome to the DayTradeSPY.com's weekly fireside chat. Introduction to trading, week in review. It is also um, the it's going to be the what do you want to call it? The coming up week, right? Preview of the week that's coming up. In fact, I'm going to change that. Instead of weekend review, it's week preview. Preview of the coming week. All right, preview of the coming week. I'm going to have to figure this out, but I think it's more important where we're going than where we've been. All right, let's try that. Anyway, we'll figure it out, folks. My name is Hugh, and it is December the 21st, 2025. One more. We have one more Sunday night, don't we? Yeah, next Sunday is the 28th. All right. So heading into the end of the week, end of the year. All right. All right. Please use the questions box. You'll find the icon on your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. Week in review. Intro to trading. That's what we do here. Folks, tell me if you're new at this, if you're new to the question box. Pull up the questions box here. And that's really where we're going to interact, all right? You'll find a little interaction here with us through the questions box, not the chat box, but the questions box. And I hope to answer all your questions here tonight. So I'm the only one to see that, so go ahead and say whatever you want. And tell me if you are new to trading, new to options, new to SPY options. Let me know in the questions box if you are new. And maybe we'll have a little primer at the end of the session here so that you understand what what options are all about. Hmm. All right, welcome, Shireen. Shireen, I hope I pronounced that right. Shireen, completely beginner to options trading. All right, good to have you all here. Now, Stephen, new to service. Yes, chat is disabled. Use the questions box, please. I am new. Okay, Matthew. Okay, good stuff. New people here. All right, next up, I want you to please tell me where you found out about us. Okay, just curious to see where our marketing efforts are more effective. Did you pick us up from the website, email? Did you get an email invite? Social media, a newsletter, or other? All right, let me know in the questions box where you found out about this webinar, found out about us. Emails, Facebook, email invite, ad from bar chart. Bar chart? Really? Okay. From Toronto. Okay. All right. From Georgia, join the trading room email invite. Okay. Tell me where you found out about us. Just curious where you found out about us. YouTube. Okay. Phil L. Been with you for years. Email. Referred from a Bernie Schaefer email. Interesting. Okay. It took a few months, but you're recommended by two colleagues of mine from work. Nice to hear that. Thank you for your to your colleagues. All right. Good stuff. Let's get started here. Let's get started. Rome, Georgia. Tell me where you're from. Okay, we got people from all over the place here today. I am going to put this disclaimer up. This is to keep us out of jail. Nobody wins if I end up there, right? Especially me. So, all right. So anyway, I'll give you a couple of seconds to read that through. Make sure that you understand that you alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I think you know all that. All right. Let's move along, folks. All right. You'll find that the video, I am streaming the video of myself here, and whenever I click on one of the other slides, the video seems to stop, and for some strange reason, it always seems to stop my worst possible pose. I don't know how it does that. It must be some AI little trick or something, but I am not a photogenic person. I'm the first to admit that. Although I jokingly say that I jokingly say that my good friend John Johnson here, he's the smart one and I'm the good-looking one. So I don't know. I just say that because, I gotta convince myself, right? Actually, we're both pretty smart. Nah, we're both, we're both okay looking. It doesn't matter. Folks, my name is Hugh. I've been doing this for a long, long, long time. I got into this quite by accident. I was never supposed to be a trader trainer. In fact, I was never supposed to be a trader at all. I had invested a lot of my money for my financial future and that of my kids. And then when I discovered that my own financial advisor many, many years ago had neglected, I'm going to say neglected my account. I'm not going to say he purposely squandered. Of course, he's not going to want to do that. But I'm going to say he neglected my account to the point where I lost about half of it. That's when I realized, well, I may not be a genius at this, but if you lose half your account, that means you have to double it to get even, right? And I saw the trend going down, not up, after many years of investing with him. And I thought, this is not good. This is not good. So I yanked my account away from him and I learned some pretty good lessons there. A couple lessons. One, nobody cares or should care more about my money than myself, than me, right? And the other thing is with the power of the internet, we all have information at our fingertips just as much as anybody else. And of course, with the advent of discount online brokers, can I not make a little bit of money myself and just keep making a little bit of money every day, maybe, so I left my career as an internal auditor for a major Fortune 500 company, big insurance company. And when I started making some more money on the side as a trader, then I was working. And this will happen to you too. People ask me sometimes, well, how am I going to know when it's time to leave my job? I say, yeah, you'll know. When you're consistently, right, when you're consistently making more money on the side trading than you are at work, suddenly your work becomes quite unimportant. And when your heart's not in it anymore. Now you have to be consistently making money, and I'm talking about for a long time, and feeling very comfortable with it, and then you'll start making some money, and you'll know when it's time to leave. So it's funny because when I left, several other people joined me. They eventually left too, became traders. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, folks, I've been teaching trading internationally since 2010. That puts us now in our 16th year. It was actually in May when I started this, May 2010. Started with the inner circle. We had a trading room, and got some ebooks and different teaching facilities that we had done. And I cut out for those short-term breakout trades multiple times a day. Now, my friend here. So what happened was actually I should just go back here. It was 2022 when Eagle Financial Products caught our attention. Um, or we got their attention, I should say, and they bought us out. They bought us out, and then the funny thing is, they hired us back. The best of both worlds. But anyway, it was good. And then they brought on John Johnson. He was a retired Eagle Financial Products guru, and they brought him in to join me in the trading room. Now, the funny thing is, John, he used to be still is, he's still a lawyer. He's a lawyer, but he used to practice law. Super nice guy and very funny, very, very intelligent, very, very perceptive, very smart. So he did a similar thing where he traded SPY, SPY. That's what we do, SPY, one stock, one strategy, 1 hour a day type of thing. But he comes from a different perspective. So he has his own set of indicators, and I have my set of indicators. And we have a saying that when our indicators unite, our trades ignite. Not just the same, but it really works. See, when I say, "Oh, I think the market's going to go up in the next little while," and he says, I agree with you. I see the same thing. We might want to buy call options. Call options. All right, it's just a saying. And I'm going to go into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us the regular presentation that most people online are looking to see, the weekend review in the upcoming week, and we'll talk about our services and how you can become a great trader. Then I'm going to do an options primer, especially for the new people. All right, people who've never been exposed to options or day trade spy or spy options. All right, so just hang in there. We'll quickly go through this. Anyway, John's been recognized in many publications, industry publications, and super nice guy. And his philosophy is very simple: take what the market will give you. All right, so before we go on, just want to mention here, don't forget, of course, to sign up for a free newsletter every week. Every Thursday, you're going to get this. Very brief, light, relevant, and even entertaining. Subscribe. Go to our website, daytradespy.com. This week's topic is going to be the Santa Rally. The Santa Rally. And I'll talk about that in a little bit too. All right, so real quick, we're going to jump into this right now. This is what happened last week, folks. All right, again, I don't want to stress too much into this because, frankly, we've had some winners, a couple losers, but on Monday, all stocks remained under pressure. Nervousness around jobs report dropped SPY 0.1%, came off a recent high. Bit of a shaky week we had actually, a lot of ups and downs, and we had a massive downstroke there on Wednesday. But on Tuesday, we did rebound on Broadcom and Oracle. Well, that rebound was not enough to spur SPY onto a full recovery. SPY dropped a little bit more on energy sector stocks, being the big decliners on Tuesday. Wednesday is an interesting day. We're pulling out of the well here, and we hit a resistance level, and suddenly when the market opened, we just tanked again. SPY posted its fourth straight loss, losing 10 points on the tech stock retreat. Once again, Broadcom and Oracle resumed their sharp declines of disappointing earnings. A little bit of nervousness around that. And also AI, all right, artificial intelligence. A lot of investors, traders wondering, is this like a bubble? It's going to burst now. And they started to sell off. And I think we ended up dropping about 10 points here in this whole fiasco here. But on Thursday, we had cooler November CPI data, inflationary data. Well, that brought SPY back to life, regaining yesterday's loss, at least in the morning before the technicals brought it back down to close at the mid 676s. It was just a wild day on Thursday. On Friday, the tech rally, led by AI stocks, continued for a second day, bringing SPY back up once again, this time pushing higher in post-market to a key resistance level. All right, so we're sitting at a real key resistance level right around that 681 and a half level. We'll see where it goes tomorrow. All right, going to be interesting to see what happens here tomorrow. All right, seasonal charts. This here is a seasonal chart. That blue line is where SPY is right now. The red line is an average of the last 5 years closing price. If you drill down into this, you'll see that historically SPY rose. Actually, um, did not rise. It dropped. It dropped about 7 points. All right, dropped about 7 points for the last week. And seasonally, it rose about 5 points the following week. We're kind of right in the middle there. All right. So we're looking at possibly a bit of a uptick here in the next few days. We'll see what happens. Last week, CPI numbers, all right, consumer price index unexpectedly cooled, but inflation will still not settle. Had a noisy finish. And I guess we're probably jumping the gun on the end of the year here. We still have a week and a little bit here before the end of the year, but here's a noisy finish. It's encouraging new outlook here for 2026. Distorted inflation and labor reports from the government shutdown. Still trying to decipher all that. They're trying to get caught up on all that, but it's still pointing to a moderating wage pressures, easing inflation, stabilizing labor market. Fed Reserve has a bias towards easing next year, and we've got a potential rotation beyond the mega caps that may broaden market leadership. We'll see what happens. Here's a graph of some inflation down to its lowest level since 2021 as the shelter cools, housing cools, all right, through shutdown distortions. Called the latest reading here. And of course, we're not seeing perhaps that as accurate numbers as we should because of the government shutdown, but they're catching up. But we are seeing inflation coming down. They're hovering around a little over 2%, 2.5%, 3%. The feds really want this thing down to the 2% level, and they're kind of really working on that, but trying to balance it off with the labor situation as well. All right, that was last week. We're heading down here. Core inflation, shelter inflation, all coming down. So it's heading in the right direction. All right. Here's the private sector hiring remains steady as federal payrolls shrink. All right, we can see the change in private payrolls coming down here. Change in government payrolls. That's what happened here during the Doge federal workforce cuts. That's eased up a little bit now. So it's all trying to work in tandem here. trying to, of course, increase labor while decreasing inflation. It's kind of a balancing act that the Feds have to deal with. All right, very important. And here's what happened last week on the indexes or indices, however you want to say that. The S&P 500 rose 0.1% year to date, and we're sitting at just over 16%. Nasdaq is the big winner, sitting at almost 21% year to date. That is, of course, the tech-heavy stocks. They're the ones that are overvalued. And you'll find those stocks like the Googles, Amazons, Apples, Microsofts, those basically the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500 comprise of about roughly 40% of the capitalization. And a lot of them, of course, are overvalued. So whenever there is money coming out of the markets or going in, you'll find that it's the tech sector and those 10 big stocks and the Magnificent Seven, those are the ones that are going to be affected the first. That's why you see these bigger numbers on the Nasdaq, which is of course the tech sector more than anything else. Dow Jones dragged along there. That lost about 0.7% this last week, but they're still 13.1% year to date. Not bad at all. That was, of course, last week. What we're looking at here is coming up in the next week, folks. Monday, we've got a low, no news day, nothing going on Monday here. Tuesday, durable goods orders, Richmond Manufacturing Index, GDP, right? Goods, gross domestic product, and we have conference board consumer sentiment, consumer confidence report coming out on Tuesday. Wednesday, we've got unemployment claims. Normally that's a Thursday report, but because the markets are closed on Thursday, we're seeing that on Wednesday, and low no news day on Friday. Also, don't forget on Wednesday, it's going to be a short week. The New York Stock Exchange markets close at 1 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesday. All right, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Volatility expected to be low on Monday, high on Tuesday, high on Wednesday, low on Thursday and Friday. Watch for whenever President Trump is scheduled to speak, volatility tends to rise. All right. So you never know when he's going to speak. He tends to join the schedule late in the day, sort of almost last minute. So never really know until sometimes the same day when he speaks. That's certainly what happened last time the other day. So, but anyway, we have many opportunities every day, folks, and our job, of course, is to help you find them, how to spot them, and how to trade them. All right. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I'm going to give you an update on the challenge. I talked before last several weeks now about taking $5,000, turning it into $50,000. All right. I've been advised, and I'm going to get a confirmation on Tuesday as to the update on this. We are going to have a challenge, but the original plan, instead of 5,000 to 50,000, we're going to kind of make it a little bit easier, taking some of the stress off of both us and yourselves. We're simply going to start with a capital of $10,000, but we're not going to be spending $10,000. We're just a starting capital. And we are going to be buying 5 contracts each day. That is the intent. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but that is the intent. So follow along with us in 2026, and we're going to see where we end up. Very simple. We're going to do this in the trading room. This is actually a lot better than the original 5 to 50K challenge because, you put the pressure on and then you start um, trading trades that you may not normally make, maybe some higher risk same day trades. I mean, that's what we did the last time. We really ramped it up, especially near the end. I found that we were actually, sometimes jumping the gun and just kind of the pressure was really on. So we're trying to do it a little bit differently. We're trying to remove the pressure and still see where we go. So we're going to track this as if we're trading 5 contracts. All right, it's 5 contracts. It's going to be actually pretty cool. And I'll give you the whole details on this as we get closer to January. It'll be next week. I'll probably give you the final details on this. And we're going to give you all the skinny on this later on. All right. We're basically going to start with $10,000, buying 5 contracts each day. and we're going to see where we end up. And we could end up. I think this last year we did it. We ended up with about well, starting with about 10,000. We had about 75,000, and I think we did that by the middle of September or something. Uh, the statisticians for Eagle, they're the ones that kept those numbers, and they're the ones that are looking at the numbers and stuff. They said, well, let's just do it that way, where just a little bit easier, so more people get in on this and a little more stress free. So, great idea. Looking forward to it. We're going to be doing this in the trading room. So your job, folks, is to join the trading room as soon as you can so you can really understand what we are doing. Now, if you are new to trading, don't worry, you'll pick it up pretty fast, and I'll tell you about the trading room in a second. All right, let's get to some questions here. I want to get to some questions. We're kind of moving forward quickly because I also want to include the options primer, particularly for those who are new to trading, may not know what options are. In fact, I'm probably going to jump to the options primer in a little bit here, but let me take a look and see what we are doing here. Let me get to some questions here. Okay. Hang on a second here. Noise back in here. I need a little mouse or something. I don't know. All right. To take some, yeah, could we please have access to recorded version of this webinar replay? Thank you. Yes, the session is recorded and it will be posted on the DayTradeSPY website. Depending on how busy they get, it's usually the next day, might be a day later or something, but it should be there. So, all right, question here, wondering what option strategy you utilize, uses stop losses. Shireen, we don't really use stop losses. We do have ways of bailing out of trades. We actually look at getting high probability trades, taking small chips at our profits. Personally, I like to scalp. And we'll be getting the scalping. My associate John, he uses different indicators and he'll go for roughly a little more than just the scalp. We're both very, very profitable, effective with our strategies, and we have high probability trades. We found that using stop losses per se does not always work. Now, that said, if I do see that this is not a good trade, I will get out of it. But it's not like we say, okay, we've got a 10-cent stop loss, or something like that, because you get a lot of movement with options. And you'll find that if you have something like, say, even a 10 cent or even a certain percentage stop loss, you often get taken out. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you got taken out, and then what happens? You continue watching it like it's your trade, and you say, "Oh, I can't believe it that I stayed in for 3 more minutes. It would have turned into a profit, right?" And then you kick yourself. Now you're getting burned twice, first financially and then again emotionally. I'm not sure which is worse. All right, so yes, five contracts, five contracts. I'm not sure, John H, the details on that yet, whether it's five contracts a trade or one trade for five contracts a day or five contracts until our $10,000 during the day is used up. So we might look at that too. So we'll give you the full details on that later. So all right, how much do we generally risk losing to make our returns? I generally don't like to lose a lot of money. I don't have a set amount. And again, we go over that in our trading room. I will admit there have been some trades that have completely gone against me, and I took some hits, but as a rule, we're going to be tightening that up in the new year. We were talking about, say, if it goes, depending on why it goes down. Okay, it's a that's a real big factor why the stock goes down. We found, so one of the things that we like to do is we like to buy lots of time. We do buy time. And very often the market will tank on a news item. Now, usually, if you have time and it's a news item that took it down, you're probably going to be okay if you just sit on it and wait because the market has a short-term memory for news and a long-term memory for support and resistance and sharp patterns and that sort of thing. Uh, Usually what will happen is once the news washes out or some good news comes in or whatever, or a chart pattern kicks in or whatever. So we look at each individual trade separately to determine, do we stay in it or do we bail out? Okay, so there's no one rule that fits the whole thing. And I find that with using stop losses, when I used to use stop losses, I ended up losing money a lot more than I made, and it wasn't a good thing. So, all right, okay. Yeah, you got that right here. This year, I purchased options trading programs only based on their win rate, without realizing that even if I won 8 out of 10 trades, I risked losing all those profits and more in the last two trades. Yeah, and here's another thing. We never let our options go to zero. Okay, they're not gonna. It's not like, you're gonna win a little bit or go to zero. Where you never let them go to zero. We do have exits, and we will be talking about those in your in the the trading room and whatnot. So, all right, just going through some more questions here. Okay, all right. So some questions, some pretty tough questions here. Some questions I don't have statistics in front of me here. We've got a video here, the pick of the day. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. Mentioned 91% success rate with some profits. I'm not sure with these numbers. I don't want to quote numbers because I didn't verify them. But we do track somewhat. The people over at Eagle Financial Products track this stuff more so than we do, but we do track them. Were those success rates only from the trades of the pick of the day? If they refer to just the picks, then that would be a yes. What is your success rate for the pick of the day? Has been since the video. Our success rate's been very consistent over the last couple of years. All right, it's been very consistent. All right, so and that's one of the reasons I don't track, every single day. I mean, we do track them, but the Eagle people are the ones that are going to compile the numbers. All right, so if they said it's whatever it is, that's probably what it is. All right. What has your profit and loss been for the pick of the day? It's been since the video throughout 2025. I don't have a number on that. Our profit has been very good. I'm not at all complaining our profit. Now, I will admit this last week, the pick of the day has had a couple of bad runs with it, all right? But we are going to be rejigging that too and stuff a little bit just to improve that. So John and I'm going to talk about these programs a little bit here as to how they work. So we'll get back to that in a little bit here. Do we use gamma? Actually, we don't use gamma. We use the Greeks, but we focus primarily on things like delta, theta, that sort of thing. Volatility. We look at volatility a lot here. Let's see. Question here about the 2026 challenge. Only buying 5 contracts these days. Is this the OMG trade or another special trade that's going to be called out in the trading room? All right, so this trade is going to be called out in the trading room. It is going to be called, so I don't know what we haven't finalized it yet. We're going to be having that meeting on Tuesday. So Alex A, thank you for the question. We will be finalizing the details on that this week. We've been toying with this back and forth, trying to make it a little more transparent, a little more easier to follow, and a little bit easier to trade too. All right, so we're hoping to do that. So. All right, I want to join the trading room. I'm going to tell you about joining the trading room. And actually, I've got a really easy way of doing it now. I used to tell you for the last, oh my gosh, last 3 years about contacting customer service and going back and forth with customer service. I got an easier way. Just pay attention. I'm going to tell you all about it, all right? What type of trades? Yes, just calls and puts. Okay. No spreads, no spreads. We buy first and then we sell. All right. Buy first and then sell. All right. No spreads. I used to do spreads. I'm sure many of you have too. And I found that they really weren't a lot of fun. They were risky. You had to pay attention to what's going on. You had to roll them over the next strike price or the next month or whatever. And then then our cohorts would be excited when they made 5% a month. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. We don't get out of bed for 5% a month. I want to see 5% a day. So what we do is we look for the setups. We combine fundamentals along with technicals, John and myself, and then we determine a high probability trade. We get in, make a few points, bail out, get our next, get our profits, look for the next setup. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. And if you like to trade, this is where you need to be. If you like to make money, this is where you need to be. And in our training, and I'm going to go over that a little bit here too, we don't teach you everything about the stock market or all that stuff. Many, many courses, many of them for free, and how to do this, how to. We only teach you what we use ourselves to make some very serious money on the stock market. We trade what we teach, and we teach what we trade. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't have any opinion, Derek, on the particular trades that I'm looking at. I don't have the charts or the news in front of me. We are sitting at a pretty high resistance level from Friday. I'm just guessing at this point. We may see a pullback tomorrow morning. I'm not really sure. If you're sitting in puts, don't hold on to them long. If they expire Friday, don't forget it's going to be a short week. A lot of volatility kicking in the midweek, so we'll see what happens here. And thanks for that, Rod T. Yes, sitting here listening intently, impressed by your record and turning 5K into 50K by September, including losses. Absolutely. Not only is it possible, but we did it. So this is what we did. Okay, so we started this challenge back in January of this year, January, I think the 6th. We took $5,000 and we turned it into $50,000. The goal was to do that by the end of the year. We actually did it by middle of September. Okay. And a lot of people wanted us to continue doing it and to keep doing it, but we just sort of took a little hiatus on that. So, well, we're going to figure it out for 2026 and see if we can make it a little bit easier. So, okay. Approximately, what has your profit been in 2025 for the pick of the day? I can't give you an answer. Kiva, I believe. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't have an answer. Um, we have some very good profits on the pick of the day. Several points every day is what the goal is here. Our goal is 6%, okay, every day. Do we make that every day? No. We have some losses, but even net of losses, we have done extremely well, extremely well. So, all right, and I'm sorry I can't give you a number. You're trying to latch on to numbers. I don't have it, but what we do is we teach you. We teach you. So. Yes, we only trade SPY. SPY is the stock that follows the top 500 stocks, which is the best way to be, which is really great because you don't have to worry about other stocks and sectors and what's the industry doing, what's the CEO doing, who is he or she, cohorting with or whatever, um, it's very good. Basically where the economy goes, we can track where SPY is probably going to go. And by the way, the economy and the stock market are not one and the same. But we track interest rates. We look and see where. What we do is we take a playbook from Wayne Gretzky. I'm sure many of you know Wayne Gretzky as the great one, the greatest, one of the greatest hockey players of all time. He used to be the greatest. I think somebody surpassed him. I'm not really sure. I haven't followed that in a long time. But Gretzky used to, I mean, he held the record uh, by far, for the longest time. He was really a phenomenal. I think he knew how to skate before he could walk. His father would take him to the arena and he knew hockey like the back of his hand. Really, really an excellent player. But they asked him once, a reporter asked him, "How is it that you're so good? What's your secret? You don't want to tell us your secret?" He said, "No secret. I skate to where the puck is going, not where it is." I thought, how profound. How profound. Of course, he skates to where the puck is going, not where it is. And of course, he can intercept the puck and take it the other way. He can, he could pick up the puck and run with it and put it in the goal. And that's what we do. We look to see where is the stock going to go, which is a lot more important than where it is or where it has been. Of course, we have to look at history to see, look at things like chart patterns and support resistance levels and that sort of. It's not that we don't look at them, but just because the stock might be going down, say in pre-market, doesn't mean that it's going to continue going down, right? All right, some more questions. I have $6,700. That's definitely enough to get started. No problem with that here. Is this day trading? Yes, it is day trading, Charles. Day trading. We do not like to trade. We don't like swing trading or holding trades overnight. Like to get in and out, preferably in a few minutes. That's what I love about this thing. We like to get in and out, make a little bit of money. Um, I find swing trading to be boring, don't you? You know, you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. Meanwhile, when you're holding these options, right, you're also losing data loss, which is the time loss, data loss. So, no, this is all day trading, and it's exciting, it's fun, it's profitable. All right. Some of your indicators proprietary. We'll learn how to trade. Will I learn how to trade as you know how? Akiva, I'm going to tell you something. None of our indicators are proprietary, but we have, and you're going to learn this in the trading room, we have a series of indicators. Now, I've got many years I started trading this. Oh my gosh, I don't even know when I started. I started by accident, a little bit of time here and there. I never set out to teach this stuff. I started this for myself and just kind of evolved into what it is now. But all of our indicators are available on Thinkorswim and probably most, if not all, trading platforms. Any half decent trading platform should have all the indicators that we use. But we have a certain combination of trading indicators that we use, okay, and how we use them. That is the key. And that's what we're going to teach you. And I not only believe you will learn how to trade, but I fully expect you to learn how to trade as well or better than me. And I will tell you this, a lot of there are people that trade better than we do in the trading room. And the answer is very simple for that. I had a question about this the other day, actually. The gentleman asked, well, there are people that chime in and they seem to be making more money than you and John in the trading room. And I said, that doesn't surprise me because in the trading room, John and I are narrating. We are narrating the events. We are narrating the news. We're narrating the performance of the market. And we're narrating what we are looking at trading. And once we get into the trade, we're narrating what's going on in real time, right? So while we are preoccupied with teaching you, and we're teaching as well, we're not focused on our own trades. So we do trade ourselves, and we talk about those trades. We show you those trades, but we are not as focused on those trades as maybe you might be, where your full attention is on your trades, and our attention is diverted through many different things that we're doing. And for that reason, it's a little bit tougher to trade as well. So that's why we're probably not making as much money as some of these other people in the trading room. So, all right, do you make more than one trade a day? Yes, actually, we probably do between John and myself. I'm guessing maybe six, seven, eight trades a day that we do, which is really pretty cool. And I'm going to give you information. Yes, you can reach me. My email address. Yes, go ahead. Hughg at daytradespy.com. That is my email address if you want to email me. Win rate. Sorry, let's get on here, folks. I'm gonna give you a 2-minute tutorial. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get back to more questions later. All right. I want to kind of get on to some of this because I just see the time. I cannot believe it. I was trying to get this down to an hour, but it looks like we're going to go a little bit over. All right, folks. The 2-minute tutorial is not going to be your normal 2-minute tutorial. Tonight, I'm actually going to talk to you about this actually is an extension of the newsletter that went out the other day. Apparently, it really rung a chord with some people, um, and uh, and what happened was I actually had some emails about it, and some people got really excited about a story that was in the newsletter. I don't know if you've seen this one. Gift giving ideas. Now, I want to tell you, and I want to talk about this tonight. It sounds self-serving, but sometimes I can tell you that in life, and many of you, I'm sure, can agree to this, we needed our arms twisted, right? We needed our arms twisted. Um, I'm gonna tell you this. My wife is not in the room, but so I'm gonna talk about this, right? And this actually went at the topic in one of my earlier newsletters. But I was dating my wife for quite a long time. I don't know, a couple of years or something. And I remember we were out for dinner. She says, "So," and I got to be careful. I want to make sure she doesn't hear this. She says, "I want to know where we're going. Like, if you have no intentions of getting married, then I think it's time to move on." And so, we should look at getting married. I'm not going to just be dating you for forever. She pretty much gave me an ultimatum. And I said to her, yes, yes, let's get married. Um, I was very happy. She's happy. Still am. We still are. I shouldn't say it was, but things are going very well, and we knew each other very well, and it wasn't going to be a whole lot more we're going to not know, right? So she twisted my arm, and it was the best thing she ever did, right? Uh, and we combined our forces and our living and everything, and everything. It was the greatest thing. So sometimes, yes, you do need your arm twisted, and that's what I'm telling you now. And I'm going to twist your arm. And I'm going to tell you that you should consider Day Trade Spy as part of your gift giving, um, you know, um, options. All right. Now, we have programs that enable the recipients to earn money on the stock market. Okay. And enables the recipient to earn money almost at will on the stock market. Okay. Our programs enable the gift giver to keep on giving for life. When you teach somebody how to fish, they fish for a lifetime, right? When you give somebody a fish every day, they eat for the day. And that's just the best way best analogy I can use. I don't know much about fishing. As a kid, I went fishing and I knew that, okay, somebody taught me I have to put bait on this line, throw it in, and hopefully you'll catch something, right? And then I remember learning a little more about fishing. I remember as a kid, yeah, there was there's an older guy on the dock and we're fishing, and I said to him, well, I said, it's actually I remember this very well. I can't remember how many fish. I want to say six. We're allowed to catch six fish or something, and that was the law or whatever with our fishing license or whatever. Maybe it was 10 fish. I can't remember. But I was kind of done. And I was about to leave, and there's an older guy there, and he'd been there when we arrived, and he was still there, and we saw him all the time there. And I remember asking him, I said, you seem to be here a lot, and don't you catch your allotted fish, six fish? He said, yeah. I said, well, why do you keep fishing? You catch your six fish. He said, you don't understand, kid. He used to call me kid. And he said, what you do is you catch six fish. You're only allowed six fish, or whatever the number was. Uh, and then, you keep fishing. You throw the small one back, and then you catch your seventh fish. Now you still have six fish, but they're a little bit bigger, right? Then you catch the seventh fish, you throw the small one back. Keep throwing the small one back. Take them out of your bucket, throw the small one back, and you keep fishing so that at the end of the day, when you're finished fishing, you have your allotted fish, but now you've got these really big fish. What a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? So you keep learning. Anyway, folks, we have programs that work, and you are going to teach the recipient of your gift giving how to fish. And I can't think of a better thing to give somebody. Now, some statistics from artificial intelligence. Take it for what it is, but I tend to believe it because I see a lot of commercial activity out there. They're saying that there's going to be over $1 trillion spent this year, mostly on stuff. And this is a record. We've never seen $1 trillion having been spent before. So I thought that's interesting. Americans will be spending around $1,100 each on average. And of course, it's the thought that counts, right? It's the thought that counts. And let me put this here. Okay, there we go. There was a thing, a quote there that was missing. So if it's the thought that counts, then why not give something truly useful for both the recipient and yourself? Because you are going to feel really good when you give something that is going to teach your kids, for example, how to fish, or whoever that is. Give them that gift of an education. And I'm talking about a real education, something they're going to use. All right, not just any education. We're not talking about, just something that's it's gonna be of value to somewhere down the road. But give them something that's relevant that they can use right away. Folks, the average cost of a U.S. college, just to put in perspective, is something like $38,000 a year per student. What do you get from that? Well, you get the chance. You get the chance for a job interview. And if you're really lucky and get the job, what? They're going to tell you what time to come in, what time your breaks are, how much, time you're going to take, how much time you're going to have for lunch, whatever it is. You can work your way up the ladder and hopefully you get to the top rung. Really? And what are you going to start out with? I don't know, not that much money. Folks, when you consider the cost and lost income, a bachelor degree can easily cost in excess of $500,000. I'm talking about lost opportunities and earning potential, and of course, going to college and room and board and the tuition and books and all of that stuff. I mean, this is serious stuff. I got some graphs up here. Here's the annual cost of tuition. Annual cost of tuition. And for some four-year institutions. I mean, I'm not going to analyze these numbers. You can see it's not cheap. You can see it's not cheap. Here's the annual cost of college attendance in thousands of dollars. Look at this. You can take it up to $59,000 a year. That's not out of the question. I mean, this is the way it is, right? This is the reality of it. So you want to maybe skip the college. Give the best gift ever. Give them a subscription to Day Trade Spy stuff. Day Trade Spy stuff. Now, I want to tell you about a gentleman. He called me, and his name was Phil. He's telling me about okay. So there's a story in the newsletter about a gentleman who gave his, I think it was the three adult kids, $5,000 plus a trading account. Well, Phil told me that he's got a 26-year-old son living in his basement. He says he's got a job, flexible job, but he doesn't see any way out. Um, he doesn't see how his son is ever going to get enough money to get out on his own. So Phil's asked me, "Look, is this something he can learn? Can he really learn this?" Hmm. I says, "Well, does he have an aptitude towards numbers?" He said, "Oh yeah, he's got a degree in quantitative something or other, and so, I mean he's a brilliant guy. It's just that there's no jobs that he can, that he found that pays as well as it should and stuff." I said, "Look, give him a subscription to everything, all right? Just do it." And here's the nice thing about it. If you really don't like it, it's not for him. He's going to get some education, but he's also going to have a 30-day money back guarantee with all of these Eagle products. Are you serious? You're not going to go wrong. Give the best. So he said he's going to go for it. Folks, we have some solid gold learn to earn actionable plans exclusively through Day Trade Spy. And I'm going to tell you about them right now. Now, starting now, I have also put in the QR codes to make it easier for you to subscribe. Up until now, I've always been telling you contact customer service at DayTradeSPY, ask them for the best thing. So I kind of pushed you to, well, I got to write an email, and I'm interested in this, and you got to go back and forth, and I don't know where it goes after customer service. Let me explain. Inner Circle, you're going to get the morning market analysis every morning, written by John or myself, and mostly John. He is an excellent writer, brings in all the news that you need to know, and he will tell you where the market is likely going to go today. We also give you a follow-up report later in the day, and you will be invited to our Wednesday night interactive meetups. These are recorded for later review. Get this, the price of this program is only $2.99 a year. Seriously, that works out to less than $6 a week. Are you kidding me? Is that like a cup of coffee and a donut or something? I don't even think it's a cup of coffee. I don't even know if you get a coffee a day on this one here. Folks, and again, 30-day money back guarantee. All right, on all our programs, 30-day money back guarantee. I should have written that down there. I don't think I did, but it's all part of it. All you have to do is click on this, get the QR code here. If you missed the QR code, I'm going to go through these. The QR codes are all in there individually, but I'm also going to present you the QR codes later in the session. Okay, so don't worry if you miss this one. The Day Trade Spy Signal, you're going to get this 3 to 5 times a week. It's algorithm based, sent to your email, cell phone. The point here is to buy it immediately and put it up for sale right away for a 5% gain. If not sold by 4 p.m., sell it at market close. Only $3.99 a quarter, or if you want the full year, $14.95 a year. Save yourself some money by buying the year. Again, click on this or rather get the QR code. And again, I'm going to present the QR codes later. So if you miss them now, don't worry about it. Day trade spy signal. Pick of the day is another one where we actually do the heavy lifting for you. You're going to get a daily pick determined by John and myself. We hammer this out in the morning before the market opens. Email it to you right after 9 o'clock. You're looking to buy right at market open and look for a 6% gain. They may be held overnight, although we try to usually get out within a few minutes. All right. And usually these do fill in a few minutes. $3.99 a quarter. Again, $14.99 for the year. $14.99 for the year. All right. Trading Room, hosted by John and myself. We are professional traders. This is what we do. This is not something we do on the side. This is what we do. All right. John gave up a very lucrative career in law to do this. All right. He gave up a very lucrative career in law, oil and gas industry in Texas, and he's pretty noted in there. Let me tell you, to trade and to teach you how to trade. These are interactive, learn and earn, fully narrated, where our strategies come alive. We host this daily in the trading room, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern time. You can get this for the full year. That's your best deal at $24.95, or you can buy it per quarter, only $6.99 a quarter. And this is actually the best value, folks. This is where it all happens. Real time, real market environment, real market conditions. If you know what calls and puts are, this is where you need to be. Again, just take a picture of the QR code. So these QR codes, they are going to take you a separate page. Scroll down to the bottom, and that's where you are going to subscribe. All right. I know there's some verbiage there at the top, but just click on these things. It's going to take you to the page. Scroll right down to the bottom, and you're going to be able to buy it right then and there. You do not have to go through customer service. All right. Don't have to go through customer service. All right. I got a couple of questions I kind of want to answer here that were sent in by some subscribers. What exactly is the Santa rally? Okay, the Santa rally. This is where the market tends to go up. I think about 80% of the time, the last few days, the last 5 days of the year, and the first couple of days of the next year. And about 80% of the time, we had this phenomenon, all right? I believe it happens. Nobody really knows the exact reason. There's a combination of reasons. We've got things like the big boys rebalancing their funds. We've got a lot of retail traders. Um, Retail traders will, let me just see here, will push the market up. A lot of people get their bonuses at the end of the year. They put it in the stock market. There's a little bit of a euphoria in anticipation of the next year. I think it's some tax related issues that happen at the end of the year. It doesn't matter why. It's a phenomenon that happens about 80% of the time. It was discovered. I forgot his name. What was his name? Yale Hirsch. Is that name? 1972. I remember the date. 1972. He discovered this phenomenon, and we call it the Santa Rally. Just something to keep in mind. So if you're looking at going with puts at the end of the year, you want to be careful. All right. So that's the Santa Rally. Just something. Now, of course, it happens the last 5 days of the year, going into the first 2 days of the next year. Next question. Can we get an email? So a couple of good questions here. And I want to thank my good friend Alex A. I'm not sure he's on or not, but a couple of good questions here. Can we get an email on bad trade days to see what we should do? The answer is actually no. After we finish the trading room, we're pretty well done for the day. We tell you in the trading room what we're looking to do. If we're sitting in a trade, how are we going to get out of it? What we're going to do, all right? We do explain all that. But we do not necessarily, in fact, most of the time, we do not follow, John and I, we don't follow the market all day. I know it's hard to believe it. We do other things too. Um, and for example, the other day, I had to leave the trading room to go see my grandkids at their Christmas school thing, you know. You don't want to miss these special events. I'm just an example. Sometimes I like to go poke holes in the clouds with my flying buddies. Sometimes I like to go sailing. And so there are other things that we do because we live a lifestyle that trading facilitates us. I know John loves to go on his beautiful bicycle. He's got a very high-end bike that he loves bike riding. It's nothing for him to put on 50, 60, 80, 100 miles a day, you know. This is what he does. So this is what we do, right? So we're not watching the market. So we don't want you to think that we're going to send you an email and disappoint you if you're waiting for some email and all of a sudden something happens and you don't get the email and we didn't send it out and we might have missed something. So don't rely on that. We don't want you to rely on that. And that's the reason we don't do it. It's not that we're trying not to do it, but we're just not something that we do. But we do talk about it in the trading room, what's going on in the market and what to watch for. So if you are in the trading room, you will get a window into the rest of the day. Next question. Why is it that we're not see each other's members' comments in the chat box? All right. So we disable the chat box because, and we've been in these trading rooms, in other trading rooms and stuff in the past, and we found that that really doesn't work well. Not for you, not for us. And here's what happens. We find that sometimes the most charismatic person will overtake the chats. They'll say things like, well, did you look at Microsoft today? And then a bunch of people will shift over into Microsoft. Did you look at Tesla today? A bunch of people shift over to Tesla. Or they'll start saying, well, look at this. Look at, they start diverting attention away from what we are talking about. All right. It's no accident that Day Trade Spy is the longest running trading room that we know of. In its 16th year, we are not aware of any other longer running trading room. And it's because, we are the hosts, we control the narrative, and this is where you've come to learn. You have paid to learn from us, so we are, we're in the classroom here together type of thing. So it's not a free for all right? It's trading is not a democracy. Okay, I know it sounds funny, but John and I did not spend over 45 years combined trading experience to just kind of throw it all up there and everybody chimes in. So that's the reason we control the narrative in the trading room. Folks, I'm going to, you know what I'm going to have a little contest here. I want you to, in the chat box, I'm going to get some more questions later. I want you in the chat box. What I want you to do is give me a number from 1 to 100, and I'm going to pull up our famous Day Trade Spy random number generator. All right, we do this every week just for fun, and we are going to give you an ebook, triumphs and tragedies. This week it's going to be triumphs and tragedies. All right, and this is our Day Trade Spy number generator. Now I'm gonna put it up in the questions box. I'm gonna give you another 20 seconds to come into the questions box here. And then I'm going to pull up the number generator, and the person closest to it is going to win the ebook, Triumphs and Tragedies. And I am going to get my trusty paper here so I can find where did they go? We get a new sheet here. Okay. Where I got to write down a person's name so I can send you the ebook. All right, Triumphs and Tragedies. All right, we are going to cut it off right now. All right, if you have, all right, submitted your number, thank you. We are not not receiving any more numbers, and we're going to pull this up. It is not the number you see here on the board. I'm just gotta find it. Where did I go? Here it is. Okay, that's not the number, folks. I am going to click the number right here, and I'm going to find out what the new number generator is. The new generated number is. It is 77. 77. Now, if there is a tie, then you both get the numbers. Okay. So we have Reggie here. Reggie, just writing these down here. Reggie G. He's at 79. He's in the running. Anybody close? Anybody within two? Uh, okay. It looks like so far Reggie is it. 77 is the number. 77. Okay. Reggie is the winner. Congratulations, Reggie. We are going to be sending you Triumphs and Tragedies. And yeah, that's a good pick. Good pick. All right, so now what we are going to do here is okay. Oh my gosh. All right, what are you gonna do now? This is actually I'm gonna go back actually. I'm gonna go back, hang on. I'm gonna go back um to that to those QR codes in a little bit. Right now what we're gonna do is we're going to um oh, I gotta flip through this here. Hang on a second. Hang on. We are going into the primer, options primer. Just want to take a few minutes and talk about options for the new people in the um, in the trading room. What are options? Options. Well, let me tell you what options are. What do we do? We day trade options on SPY, right? SPY period. That's all it is. SPY. SPY is the highest traded stock out there. It's affordable. It's diverse. It's liquid. It's got huge, huge profit potential. Okay, and that's what we like about it. It really is exciting trading. That's what I like about it, and it's not that difficult once you learn how. All right, folks. What are options? They're basically contracts. You're not buying the stock. I'm not interested in the stock, and I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, but these are contracts that give the options holder the right, but not the obligation to trade the underlying stock for a certain price by a certain date. All you have to do is remember two names, calls. If you expect the stock to rise, you buy a call option. If you expect it to drop, you buy a put option. Call up, put down. Okay, call up, put down. All right, and they have these are the names, and you're going to get used to these names pretty quickly. All right, this is not something you're going to have to really learn. You're gonna pick this up like real fast. All right, so some things you have to know, and again, this is just a primer. This is not by no means an exhaustive lesson in stock option trading or anything, but this is just a very brief overview of what we do here and what options are. Okay, because you kind of have to know this. All right, so options, all right, they have a strike price. This is the set price at which the stock can be bought or sold. All right, when it is exercised. Now, we're not looking to exercise it. We want to just trade the option. We want to just trade these babies, okay? There's an expiration date. They do expire. This is the end date at which the contract expires, which means you either have to dump it by then, or if you are in the money, they could exercise the option, which means they convert your options into stock. That's not what we want. If you are out of the money, all right, then the option simply expires worthless. All right. Now in the money, that's when the market price of the underlying security, SPY, is above the strike price for calls or below the strike price for puts. You are in the money. This allows the options holder to exercise it profitably. Out of the money, of course, is the opposite when your market price of the underlying security is below the strike price for calls or above the strike price for puts, and then it becomes worthless. Okay. Pros and cons, pros and cons. Pros here, lots of flexibility, cost efficient, huge, huge leverage, and this is why we make a lot of money. Sometimes you'll hear options traders saying, "Well, I made 50% today," or "I made 120%." They're probably telling you the truth because that is the power of options. All right. Um, you don't need a huge move in this underlying stock to make a lot of money on options. Huge, huge return potential here. Many strategies available. Now, we only have a small handful that we use because that's what works best for us. I like to keep things as simple as possible. Again, we don't do spreads. We don't do any naked positions, nothing like that. And I'll tell you a little story. It's also very fun and exciting. One of my earlier members, Amber was her name, beautiful lady, five kids. She was a massage therapist. No husband, deadbeat husband. I know, single girl, single mother. She said, "Hugh, can I learn this?" I said, "Yes." And she was very good. She's learned. She went through our training program. She was very good at day trading options on SPY. But she kept looking all the time. I says, "Amber, what do you keep looking for? When you lose your car keys and you find them, you stop looking. Why are you looking?" "Well, I'm just curious." Okay. The one day she came to me and said, "Hugh, I discovered something new." I said, "What is it, Amber? What is it?" Oh, I'm thinking here, oh my gosh, no, 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 please, no. She said, "I discovered and I enjoy selling naked puts on FFIV. I said, oh, Amber, you need to stop that. Well, why, Hugh? I'm making money. I said, you're making money, but here's what's going to happen. FFIV is a tech stock. It doesn't always go up. It's going to come down. It's going to come down enough, and you're going to get a margin call. Well, what's that, Hugh? And I told her what a margin call is, right? You don't have enough backing there to cover your shorts. And your broker's going to say you have until tomorrow afternoon to come up with whatever. And if you don't come up with it, they're going to liquidate your account. Yeah, but Hugh, I'm making money. I said, Amber, I forbid you to do this. Stop doing this. Stop doing it. It's going to come back and bite you. I swear. I swear it is. I know. I've been there. Well, anyway, long story short, a little while later, she called me up, of course, FFIB dropped. Value of her options went up. She was obliged to make good on the stock, and she says, "Oh, the broker called me, Hugh," and she's all in tears. What do they want? I don't know. She said 40 some thousand dollars they wanted. Well, Amber, I know if you don't have it, you don't have it. Then they're just going to liquidate your stock. You're out of the game. That's it. You're done. Well, I don't have the money, Hugh. Well, you're done. And she was. She was done. And I was really saddened about that because Amber was a pretty good trader. Had she just stayed in her lane, continued doing what she was doing, I swear she'd be on easy street right now. She'd have been our poster child. But nope, she had to, you know, curiosity killed the cat, right? Is that the say? Anyway, sorry to hear that about that, Amber, but whatever. Folks, there are some cons to trading. I'm not going to kid you. Time decay works against you with the way we trade, commissions, and of course, there is risk. And you will find that the risk is there, but you will find that the enemy is the person in the mirror more than the actual stock market. And that's just the way it is. Folks, I'm going to tell you over the years, all right, over the years, we found, well, the one stock, one strategy, 1 hour a day, we figured out what works for both trading and training. And that's why we became so successful. So why SPY? SPY follows the top 500 US stocks, most diversified funds. People say, well, how come you don't diversify? You just have the one stock. Well, I can't think of a more diverse. All the sectors are represented in the stock. It's a very efficient use of analysis time. You don't have to stay in front of your computer for hours and hours and hours on end. And very, very simple. I get in front of my computer. I mean, there's a lot of work I do beforehand because of all the other things that we do. But basically, I could get in front of this thing at 9 o'clock in the morning and have a pretty good idea as to where the market's going to go that day. The moves are quick. All right. You earn your daily gains pretty fast. SPY is fairly reliable, consistent, predictive, forgiving. And the price can be anticipated in any market, up or down. We can make money trading options on SPY, whether it's an up market or a down market. Now, again, note the disclaimer, you are responsible for all your own trading. Past performance does not guarantee future results. But this is why SPY is very, very great, just the greatest tradable instrument out there. And folks, why now? Learn something new. Stay mentally sharp. I find that especially as I get older, my cognitive skills are still very sharp. I've not lost anything. And I'm proud to say that. Now, my kids might tell you a different story, but I'm 70 years old. And, I think I'm still pretty sharp. Folks, you can earn while you learn. Time's going to go by anyway. You might as well make money, right? You might as well make money along the way. Huge profit potential for serious traders, and you can really live that dream lifestyle. And I'm not kidding you about that. There are people that are doing extremely well in this business, and they are driving the nicest cars, living in the nicest house. They're helping their kids. They're doing all these great things. You can pass on this knowledge to your kids for financial security. This is what I love about this the most. And this is what I was kind of going back about for, gift giving for Christmas and holidays and stuff. Like, you know, you give the gift of knowledge and they can actually go on and by the way, we're going to finish this up in a couple of minutes, all right? They can actually go on and make money at will on the stock market. And you are going to feel very good about that. All right, pros. Flexibility, cost efficient, use leverage. I think I told you about this. What am I going in the back and forth here? I think I'm messing up here. Okay, here's a comparison of stocks and options. And this lovely young lady here, she's going to tell us if you were to buy 100 shares of SPY, right now the price is around 681. It's going to cost you $68,100. But one contract will control 100 underlying shares. You can get it for $3. That's $300. Okay, that's what it's going to be, $300 because each contract controls 100 shares. it's actually $300. Now, if the stock rises $100, guess what? You've got $68,200 in your stock. But assuming there's a delta, this is what they call a Greek. The $3 contract would give you a delta of about 50, which means that as the stock moves $1, your option is going to move 50 cents. Therefore, your option is now worth $350. Look at the difference here. Your return on investment on the stock, if the stock goes up, $100, 0.15%, not a whole lot to get excited about, but with options, a whopping 17%. Well, which would you rather have? Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, all right? We're not even looking for 17%. All right, we don't even have to look for something, but can you not make 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7% a day? That's what we do. Every day we are looking at making 5 or 6, 7% a day. That's what we do. And that's what you're going to do. All right, that's what you're going to do. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the place to be. Once I started trading options, I never looked back. All right, folks, one stock, one strategy, 1 hour a day. Learn from our mistakes. You're not going to live long enough to make them all yourself. If you want what I have, you got to do what I do. Thank you for joining us. Here are those QR codes. Get started now, all right? Don't forget, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. You're going to see all of that on those links, all right? These links are not payment, they are payment links. These links are going to take you to the sheet. Simply scroll down to the bottom. That's where you can actually make your payment. I am going to leave this up for the next 2-3 minutes. Grab these screenshots, and it's been a real pleasure, folks. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Very happy, very Merry Christmas. We'll see you the next time.
I wanna know if you really need it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I know it's been on your mind for a while, but to get what you really want can take some time. You gotta be focused now, don't play around, and trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can have it if you dream it. Just be brave and you'll achieve it all. It all. I wanna know if
I had my microphone off. I'm just going to say here, folks, yes, if you scroll down, you will see an option that gives you the yearly or the quarterly payment. Okay, so click on the little button that gives you the quarterly, and you should get a quarterly rate for that. All right? Thanks, folks.
loud and clear, loud and clear, shout it loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear, shout it loud and clear. And there ain't no stopping now. You're the one, shine brighter than the moon and the sun. Be great at what you do, give it all of you, and trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can have it if